You are listening to the Elite Sports Show with your host, Knoxville's own Sam Moore. Alright, here we go. It is February 15th, 2018. You already know how it goes by now. We're going to run into some NBA scores, look at the standings, NCAA basketball, NHL, look at those standings as well. At the end, we're going to look at the little happenings with Isaiah Thomas and Rajon Rondo in today's game. Talk about Sebastian Janikowski and his release coming up soon from the Raiders. Not his release, but they're just not going to re-sign him. And what the Broncos are doing in free agency this year and who they're possibly going after. And then we got a special announcement for the Sunday show when Tony gets on, so be sure to stick around and catch the news for that. But let's go ahead and get started on some NBA scores. We'll go ahead and start with the Hawks playing at the Pistons. Pistons beat the Hawks 104-98. Pistons top scorer was Ish Smith. He shot 8 for 13 with 22 points. And the Hawks top scorer was Andrew Watt III, who shot 6 for 11, 15 points in that game. The Hornets took on Orlando on the road, beat them 104-102. Hornets top scorer was Superman Dwight Howard, 9 for 16, 22 points in that game. And Orlando's top scorer was Mario Hezonja, who had 10 for 20. He had 21 points in that game. Travel back out to the East. Keep it in the East, actually. Not traveling to the East. We're keeping it there. 76ers took on the Heat at home and beat Miami 104-102. Sixers top scorer was Dario Saric. He shot 5 for 12 from the field, 19 points. And the Miami Heat's top scorer was James Johnson, who shot 8 for 10 for 22 points. Keeping in the East once again, Pacers take on Brooklyn, and Brooklyn beat the Nets 108-103. Pacers top scorer, of course, is Victor Oladipo. Didn't have the best shooting percentage. He made up for it in free throws, but he shot 9 for 24 for 25 points. And Brooklyn's top scorer was Alan Crabb, who shot 9 for 16 for 24 points. Another Eastern Conference game. The Wizards took on the Knicks in New York, so keeping it in the state of New York as well. But the Wizards beat the Knicks 118-113. The Knicks blew like a 20-something point lead in that game to lose that one. So they're tanking real hard. They're trying real hard. But the Wizards' top scorer was Bradley Beal, who had 36 points off shooting 14 for 22. And the Knicks' top scorer was Tim Hardaway Jr., who shot 14 for 24 for 37 points. Make this little inter-conference game here as the Clippers take on Boston in Boston, and the Clippers take the win over the Celtics 129-119. Top scorer for the Clippers was DeAndre Jordan, who shot 11 for 14, had 30 points, and Boston's top scorer was Kyrie Irving, 11 for 21 from the field, and had 33 points. The Raptors took on the Chicago Bulls in Chicago and beat them 122-98. The Raptors' top scorers were two different people. One was Kyle Lowry, who shot 5 for 10 for 20 points, and Serge Ibaka, who shot 9 for 12, also for 20 points. The Bulls' top scorer was Bobby Portis, who shot 8 for 14 for 18 points. Make this little Western Conference game going on right here as the Sacramento Kings took on the Houston Rockets on the road, and the Rockets beat the Kings 191. Houston's top scorer, of course, James Harden, 7 for 19 from the field, 28 points. And the Kings' top scorer was Bogdan Bogdanovic. He shot 8 for 15 and had 20 points. Another Western Conference matchup. Actually, the rest of these are Western Conference matchups, so we'll make that the last time I say that. But the Oklahoma City Thunder took on the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis and beat the Grizzlies 121-114. OKC's top scorer was Paul George, who shot 10 for 15 for 28 points, and the Grizzlies' top scorer was Andrew Harrison. He was 10 for 16, 5 for 5, 100% from beyond the arc for 28 points. The Lakers took on the Pelicans in New Orleans and lost to the Pelicans 139-117. New Orleans' top scorer was Anthony Davis. No surprise there. He shot 15 for 18 for 42 points. And the Lakers' top scorer was Kyle Kuzma, one of my favorite rookies this year. He shot 10 for 20 for 23 points. We're going to head on out to Salt Lake City as the Jazz take on the Suns at home and defeat them 107-97 to pick up their 11th straight win. And the Jazz's top scorer was the rookie, my other favorite rookie, Donovan Mitchell. He shot 10 for 24. He had 24 points. And the Suns' top scorer was Devin Booker, making his return. I'm not sure how long he was gone, but I know he was out with an injury for a little bit. But he shot 8 for 20 for 28 points. And the primetime game, which I happened to catch the fourth quarter of, so it was a pretty good game. But it was Golden State taking on the Trailblazers in Portland, and the Trailblazers beat the Golden State Warriors 123 to 117. Portland's top scorer was Damian Lillard. He shot 14 for 25 from the field, had 44 points, and Golden State's top scorer was Kevin Durant, who shot 7 for 27 and had 50 points in this game. Before we look at the standings, go ahead and take a look at the games going on tomorrow. There's only two. We've got the Nuggets taking on the Bucks in Milwaukee, and we've got the Lakers taking on the Timberwolves in Minnesota. That is your NBA on TNT game. It's at 9 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. But let's go ahead and take a look at the NBA standings, and we are looking at the Eastern Conference, and you're looking at them right now. So, no real big changes here. Some teams move up. Some teams lose their standing a little bit. For the most part, everybody stayed just about the same. So from 8 to 1, it's the Heat, 11.5 back. 7's the Sixers, 10 back. Pacers and the Bucks are both 8.5 back. The Wizards are 8 back. The Cavs are 6.5 back. The Celtics are 2 back. And the Toronto Raptors are your Eastern Conference leaders. We'll go ahead and take a look at the Western Conference. And as you can see, after the games last night, the Rockets took the lead in the Western Conference for the top seed from the Golden State Warriors. But we'll move on up from number 8 to number 1. The Pelicans and the Nuggets both are sitting at 13 back. The Trailblazers are sitting at 12.5 back. Oklahoma City Thunder are sitting at 12 back. The Timberwolves are sitting at 10.5 back. The Spurs still remain 10 games back. The Golden State Warriors sit in second, half a game back, and the Rockets, of course, are your Western Conference leaders. And you can see the rest of the standings for the Western Conference down below. Let's go ahead and take a look at some NCAA men's basketball scores. We'll start from the bottom, and we'll go up. Number 24, Nevada took on the Boise State Broncos on the road and took the win 77-72. Nevada's top scorer was Kendall Stevens. He had 21 points, 4 rebounds, and Boise State's top scorer was Chandler Hutchison, who had 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists, so a double-double in a losing effort. Yeah, here we go. All right, so number 22, Michigan took on Iowa at home. That not so great Iowa team, and of course Michigan takes the win at home, 74-59. Iowa's top scorer was Luka Garza, who had 22 points, 6 rebounds, 1 block. And Michigan's top scorer was Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman. We're going to go with that pronunciation. But he had 18 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists. The Duke Blue Devils took on Virginia Tech at home in a game I wanted to watch, but I did not. And I'm glad I didn't now that I'm looking at the score, because the Blue Devils defeated Virginia Tech at home 74-52. Virginia Tech's top scorer was Justin Bibbs. He had 15 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and Duke's top scorer was Grayson Allen, who had 25 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. We got an upset in overtime in Tallahassee as the Florida State Seminoles defeat the Clemson Tigers in overtime, 81-79. Clemson's top scorer was Marquise Reed. He had 23 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Florida State's top scorer was Terrence Mann, who had 13 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. So top 25 team goes down in conference play on the road. Clemson's now 20-5 and 9-4 in the ACC. We're going to jump over to the SEC as the Auburn Tigers took on the Kentucky Wildcats, the struggling Kentucky Wildcats, and they continue to struggle as they lose on the road 76-66 to the Tigers. Kentucky's top scorer was Kevin Knox, who had 19 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and Auburn's top scorer was Anthony McLemore, who had 13 points, 11 rebounds, and 1 assist, so a double-double in the win over the Wildcats. The Wildcats now sit 17-9, 6-7 in the SEC, and Auburn sits at 23-3 overall with an 11-2 record in the conference. Number 4, Xavier took on Seton Hall in a home game there, and They took the win in a very high-scoring game, almost a score for an NBA. Actually, it is a score for an NBA game, but they win 102-90 over Seton Hall. Seton Hall's top scorer was Miles Powell, who had 30 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and Xavier's top scorer was Trayvon Blewett. We're going to go with that one. He had 37 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist. So Xavier is sitting at 24-3 and 12-2 in the Big East. And then we have another big upset as Villanova travels to Providence and they lose on the road 76-71. But Providence top scorer was Jalen Lindsey, who had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and Villanova's top scorer was Michael Bridges, who had 19 points, 7 rebounds, 1 block. So the number 3 Villanova goes down. They sit at 23-3 and 10-3 in the Big East. So it looks like Xavier has taken the lead in the it looks like they had the lead in the Big East standings, but Villanova was ranked higher in the national polls. So yeah, big day, couple upsets in the top 25 with Clemson and Xavier going down, and those are big losses for any top 25 teams looking to move up. But we'll take a look at tomorrow's games for the top 25 in men's college basketball. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shit. Lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 top 25 men's basketball games tomorrow. Let's start with number 5 Cincinnati taking on the Houston Cougars on the road. That game's at 7 o'clock. Cincinnati, of course, is 23-2 record, and 12-0 in the conference, looking to stay undefeated in American Athletic Conference play. Number 6 Purdue takes on Wisconsin on the road. Big Ten matchup. Purdue is 23-4 with a 12-2 record. Temple takes on the Wichita State Shockers in American Athletic Conference play. Wichita State is 19-5 and 9-3 in conference play. Number 8 Ohio State takes on Penn State on the road. Ohio State is 22-5 and 13-1 in conference play. Number 9 Gonzaga takes on Loyola Marymount at home. That game's at 9 o'clock on ESPN 3. But Gonzaga's sitting at a 23-4 overall record, and they are 13-1 in the WCC. Is that the West Coast Conference? Whatever that conference is called. They have a 13-1 record in it. We got a ranked matchup. Number 17 Arizona takes on number 25 Arizona State in the rivalry game. That game will be played at Arizona State. Arizona sits at 20-6 overall with 10-3 Pac-12 record, and Arizona State is 19-6 overall with a 7-6 conference record. And your last game for tomorrow night at 11 o'clock on ESPNU is number 15 St. Mary's traveling to San Francisco to take on San Francisco and WCC play. St. Mary's is sitting at 24-3 overall with a 13-1 conference record. So we got some good games coming up tomorrow. If I had to give you a suggestion on a game to watch, I would pick 2 and let you pick from there. As I would say Ohio State and Penn State should be a good game. Penn State is actually favored in that game by 1. And Arizona State, that's your ranked matchup, and Arizona State is favored in that game by 1. But you got to pick one of them. So Ohio State, Penn State starts at 8 o'clock, and Arizona State starts at 9 o'clock. We'll go ahead and move on to some NHL scores from today. We only had 3 games on today, but we got quite a few more tomorrow, or tonight, that is. And there were 3 games on last night, and there are 11 games on tonight. So let's go and look at some scores from last night as the Maple Leafs destroy the Blue Jackets 6-3 at home. The Avalanche shut out the Canadiens 2-0 at home as well. And the Florida Panthers take out the Canucks in a close game 4-3 on the road. So let's go ahead and take a look at some games we got going on today. Excuse me. The Hurricanes take on the Devils on the road. The Rangers at the Islanders. Battle for New York. The Kings are at the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Sabres at the Senators. Red Wings at Lightning. Flames at Predators. Capitals at Wild. Almost said Wind. Capitals at the Minnesota Wild. The Ducks at the Blackhawks, the Canadiens at the Coyotes, the Oilers at the Red Hot Golden Knights, and the Canucks at the Sharks. Let's pick who I've got in these games. I'm going to go Devils over Hurricanes, Islanders over Rangers, Penguins over Kings, Senators over Sabres, Lightning over Red Wings, Preds over Flames, Caps over the Wild, Ducks over the Blackhawks, Canadiens over the Coyotes, Golden Knights over the Oilers, and the Sharks over the Canucks. But now that we've got the games from today out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the NHL Eastern Conference standings. You're seeing those right now. So yeah, looking at it, not much has changed from yesterday, obviously, because there were only 3 games on last night. And the only team that could have done any... I mean, there's not really any team that played last night that could have done anything, actually. The Maple Leafs are the ones closest to making a dent in their division standings. And they only moved up just a tad bit. I mean, they're still... In the Atlantic, it's going to be one of those 3 teams that takes the Atlantic. Everyone else is too far away to do anything. Looking at the Metropolitan, everything's still the same yesterday. We don't have to talk about that much. And then we'll take a look at the Western Conference. And everything on that is the exact same there. Some of the lowly teams played last night. Yeah, so the NHL standings don't really change much. So yeah, no real big difference there. Everything's the same from yesterday pretty much for the NHL. Let's go ahead and get into our discussion for the day. We'll start off with Isaiah Thomas and Rajon Rondo getting into a tussle in their game tonight, or last night rather. It came off of, looked like to me from the clip that I saw that it was a running screen, and Thomas got into Rondo, and Rondo may have, he didn't push him, but he definitely forced his weight onto Isaiah Thomas. And, if you think back, this all stems from when Isaiah Thomas was still on the Cavs, and it was announced when Paul Pierce's jersey / number retirement was going to be there. Obviously, that game that happened was against the Cavs. The Celtics tossed out the idea of doing a tribute video for Isaiah Thomas, as it'd be his first time back in the building since he was traded from Boston, and Isaiah Thomas turned it down. But before Isaiah Thomas turned it down, Rajon Rondo came out and asked, what he even did in Boston to deserve to have a tribute video. So there's obviously a little bit of tension there between those two, as far as all that goes. But yeah, they got into a tussle, got suspended. Lakers play tomorrow. We'll see if they didn't get suspended, I'm sorry, they got ejected from the game. But it will be interesting to see if either one of those players do get suspended. I don't think they should. They didn't fight. Nothing really happened. They just got into it, ran their lips. Nothing. It wasn't that big of a deal, I don't think. But yeah, that's that. That's something that happened. Something you got to talk about. I don't think either player should be suspended. They should have gotten ejected. That I do agree with, because you can't have 2 players. If they hadn't gotten ejected, they probably would have actually gotten into an actual fight. Yeah, we look at Sebastian Janikowski and the Raiders. I think it maybe leaked, or maybe they announced it, but they definitely told Sebastian Janikowski they do not plan on bringing him back in 2018. So Janikowski's run with the Raiders as their kicker looks like it'll be coming to an end after 18 years of the franchise. And I don't see him going anywhere else, so I guess he's just going to retire. And I don't know, if I was the Raiders, I would have just kept him until he decided to retire. Because there's no kickers out in free agency you're going to be able to make a run after. Not that I know of, at least. And it's not like he was struggling. He was still playing good enough to be your starting kicker. See, I don't agree with them letting him go. I understand he's up there in age, but Adam Vinatieri is also up there in age, and he's still doing fine. So yeah, I think the Raiders should have just kept Janikowski after 18 years, to just tell him you're not going to re-sign him instead of letting him retire when he feels fit to retire. I don't agree with it. I understand it's a business, but at the same time, a player that loyal to you, you should have let him retire on his own time. But we move on to our next subject, and that is the Denver Broncos are going to be targeting a top quarterback in free agency. And there is a quarterback they are rumored to be going after, but I don't think that's the top quarterback that they're rumored to be going after. And I hope it's not, because if they consider A.J. McCarron to be a top quarterback in free agency, whether he be a restricted free agent or an unrestricted free agent, we'll get to that in a second, he's not a top quarterback. So I hope that's not who they're thinking about. But if they are, it makes sense why they have had some quarterback issues since Peyton Manning retired. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who they go after. I've had a couple guys, I talked to, who did I talk to today? Well, Tony, for one, told me, because I talked about Kirk Cousins yesterday going to the Vikings or going to the Cardinals. And Tony brought up that the Broncos might go after Kirk Cousins, which makes sense. And with that news coming out, it would make sense for them to go after Kirk Cousins. He is a top quarterback in free agency. He might be the best realistic quarterback in free agency this year, because Drew Brees is a free agent, but he's definitely going back to the Saints, if not retiring. But I don't think he's going to retire. So yeah, I could see the Broncos going after Kirk Cousins. But if they do go after A.J. McCarron, which they are rumored to be doing, what is his status as a free agent going to be? Because as it stands, the Bengals are wanting to label him as a restricted free agent. The NFL Players Association is wanting him to be labeled as an unrestricted free agent. And that's kind of strange. That's kind of a strange thing. That doesn't happen a lot. The reason for that being is when A.J. McCarron was drafted back in his rookie year, and I can't remember what year that was, so I don't want to say it and be wrong. But when he was drafted his rookie year, he had a pre-existing injury from his college days. So he was placed on the injury reserve list for non-football injuries, which is basically for injuries that happen off the field or happen in college before they can even get to the NFL to get injured in the NFL, whether it be OTAs or anything like that. It has to be an NFL activity. So yeah, he was placed on the IR list his rookie year before he even got to NFL camps or anything like that. And the technical rule is the NFLPA is in the right. They do have a very valid point with this. Is the NFLPA is saying he was only active for the final 3 games of his rookie year. So he was only available off the IR for 3 games of his rookie year. The technicality is for a year to count as a contract year, you have to be active for 6 games of the season. Whether it be the first 6, the last 6, or 6 sprinkled in. You have to be an active player for 6 games of the season for it to count as a contract year. So the NFLPA is pushing that A.J. McCarron should be an unrestricted free agent because his first year should not have counted as a contract year. And the Bengals are trying to push that he should be a restricted free agent because his first year should count as a contract year. That ruling will be coming from the NFL in the coming days. And honestly, I think that he'll win and he'll be labeled as an unrestricted free agent. He'll be free to go wherever he wants to go without the Bengals having the privilege of being able to match whatever offer sheet he gets. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see that. That'll be coming in the coming days. So whenever that does come up, I'll be sure to bring it up on here and let you guys know what happens with that. But yeah, at the beginning of the show, I talked about a big announcement coming up this Sunday. Of course, Sundays are the big shows where, Tony comes on, we talk. That's usually our longest show of the week for sure. But we talked today. We were wanting to get some ideas out there on what we could talk about. And we have decided that this Sunday we will be releasing our opinionated collaborative college football way too early top 25 rankings list. So yeah, that'll be coming Sunday. We're probably going to work on that Saturday night. he may be on the show Saturday. It just depends on his schedule, my schedule, how everything works out. But yeah, this Sunday we're going to have our college football top 25 rankings come out, and those will be our top 25 rankings until after the first week of the season. So we'll go ahead and get it wrapped up. This is a good show, real fun. I appreciate it, guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you to the listeners that talked to me today and throughout the week, of course. That's Trevor, David, Derek, and Zach. So thank you guys for reaching out, talking to me, giving your thoughts, your opinions on what I've been talking about. And, just be sure to drop a like down below, hit that pretty little subscribe button, and click on that bell to get you a nice little ring-a-ding-ding whenever I upload this episode and episodes in the future. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Peace.
Playing for the fame, my swag is the only game. Never add water, that shit will drive you insane. Moving up the ladder, to me your shit doesn't matter. Your chick might be bad, but I bet my chick is better. Show you who I'm reppin', nigga, throwing up Knockside. And my nigga Snapback coming in from the north side. Handing out shots on the street, come and get it here. Then I take your bitch to my place and she let me hit. Blunt rolled up, take a puff and I pass it down. All my niggas with me, 865, that's my hometown. Tim Doc on the track, I ain't sippin' on Kool-Aid. That shit's for pussies, I live life on a high grade. Wake up every day, ready to bring on the rain. Knocks filling my blood, flowing all through my veins. No room for pussy rappers, always trying to fit in. Say what you want, cause all we do is win. Wake up every day, ready to bring on the rain. Knocks filling my blood, flowing all through my veins. No room for pussy rappers, always trying to fit in. Say what you want, cause all we do is win.
All we do is win, all we do is ball. Bring the rain, 250, I let it out. What the fuck you mean? I do this for real. Young Doc got the Glock, he shooting the kill. Lil Knox ain't the spot, we shooting that wheel. Rolling up, motherfucker, we smoking that kill. I'm a real nigga, shoot to kill niggas like Muslims. Let me murder one of you fuck niggas, we cheap about a dozen. Fuck it's just the mother's brother, and I can't forget your cousin. Snap back, I'm the greatest man, Young Doc, we faded. Snap back, I'm the greatest man, Young Doc, we faded. Pussy niggas, they hate it. Pussy niggas, they hate it. I'm down.
Every day, ready to bring on the rain. Knocks filling my blood, flowing all through my veins. No room for pussy rappers, always trying to fit in. Say what you want, cause all we do is win. Wake up every day, ready to bring on the rain. Knocks filling my blood, flowing all through my veins. No room for pussy rappers, always trying to fit in. Say what you want, cause all we do is win. Throw the deuces up to bitches, I don't play with fucking cinches. Turn your back on me and I promise that there won't be a witness. Say what you want in your lyrics, I bet no one will hear it. My entire fan base is based on all your critics. Take a shot at the title and see who's at the top. I might not be there yet, but try and make me stop. Say hasta la vista, baby, like I was a Terminator. And I just keep getting bigger like I am a Schwarzenegger. Come at me and you in danger, I'm no pimp, I'm just a player. A snap of my fingers and all my niggas annihilators. I put this pen on the paper and pull my head towards the clouds and imagine the day that I'm in front of a giant crowd. Wake up every day, ready to bring on the rain. Knocks filling my blood, flowing all through my veins. No room for pussy rappers, always trying to fit in. Say what you want, cause all we do is win. Wake up every day, ready to bring on the rain. Knocks filling my blood, flowing all through my veins. No room for pussy rappers, always trying to fit in. Say what you want,
cause all we do is win.